Hey, Taylor Johnson here. If you're listening to this, you've either made a great choice or you've accidentally clicked something while scrolling. Either way, you should stay. This is Pop Culture Pastor.
Pop Culture Pastor.
All right, Cody, what you been up to?
Truthfully?
Yeah. Give me an honest answer. I'm looking for an honest answer there.
I've been playing NASCAR 25.
What?
Revan's racing.
He didn't bump you. He didn't hit you. He rubbed you. And rubbing, son, is racing. I'm so glad you referenced Days of Thunder.
Yes. I really feel like I am the next Dale Earnhardt while playing this.
Where did this come from? Why? Why are you playing NASCAR 25?
Because a NASCAR game has been missing from my life for like 20 years, and I'm like, I need another one. Although there's too many road courses now and street courses, like there's right and left-hand turns.
What?
And I'm like, I can't do this.
What's that? That's not stock car racing.
Exactly.
I didn't know there was. There used to be like one on the Winston Cup schedule back when it was Winston Cup. I thought it was Watkins Glen, man.
Yes, Watkins Glen and Sonoma were the two that were there when I was a kid, and now they've added like Chicagoland, and there's a Roval, which is like a road course oval at Charlotte, and there's one in Austin, Texas. I can't keep up.
I've tried playing a couple NASCAR racing games or just racing games in general. And here's the problem. The problem is like, I kind of like racing, but I just want to race. I don't need pit crews. I don't need my tires wearing off. I don't need to check the camber on my setup. Like, stop it. This is too much. I'm not an aeronautics engineer.
I will say on this one, the actual race, like unless you adjust it, you don't have to go to the pits at all.
That's good.
You don't, and then your tires like gradually wear, so like you can't hug the corner on the last lap usually. But
if I was a real stock car racer, I would just put like little rubber wheels on the sides of my car so I can just bounce off the wall. Can I do that? I don't think that would work. I think I'm missing something. Anyways, this is Pop Culture Pastor. You just heard more about NASCAR than we have ever literally talked about on this pod.
You're welcome.
That's what we've been missing.
So it was between NASCAR and Expedition 33. I got both of those games on sale. Okay. And I chose NASCAR to start off with because the Expedition one is evidently will make me cry, and I'm not ready for that yet.
I'm still not going to pretend that it's not weird you're playing NASCAR video games.
I grew up a senior fan.
You grew up in a small town. You're kind of redneck. A lot of people don't know that. I
occasionally yell out Junebug.
Why?
Because that's what they call Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Oh, okay. Right.
Junebug.
Sure. Listen, here's an interesting trivia about me, because I did grow up in the city. I did not grow up around country folk. But I've seen tons of races, and I'm going to tell you why. Because my dad traveled around the Midwest racing stock cars. He was a racer. It's like the Johnny Cash song. I've been everywhere, man. I've been as far north as Michigan. We went to Rockford, Illinois. I remember going there with him. Of course, like Bolivar and Lebanon, Missouri, which are, closer to where we live here. But yeah, I don't know, man. If I'm being honest, it's like George Carlin said, all I really cared about were the crashes.
That's fair.
I'd be like, this is so boring. Oh, wow. One time my dad got in a crash, and like he was right at the front of the pack, and someone got their fender into his backside and spun him out right in front of everybody. And the car just disintegrated. And I was like, oh, I wonder if he's okay. Spoiler, he was fine. The car was not.
Well, if the car disintegrates, it's usually a good thing.
I think there was a good pit fight that night.
As there should be.
All right. That was amazing. What an amazing opener. I wanted to take a look at some of the social media questions we ask people. I figured we would start this because we ask these questions, and part of it is just to get engagement. Not to lie, we want you to engage with us, but we want to create a community like place on our social media. So you should follow us on our social media if you haven't, because we do these fun things like the question of the week this week. But oftentimes people want our answers.
Oh,
So the question of the week was, it went out on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and we asked, which movie, show, or book helped you understand injustice in a new way? Not to just launch that at you, but do you have an answer for that?
thank you, Dave.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I have an answer. I'll go first.
I'll let you go first because I got to look up the title.
So I love a movie that I've talked about before with Christian Bale as a kid called The Empire of the Sun. It's a Spielberg movie, which that's interesting because we're going to talk about a Spielberg movie tonight. And it's great. It's World War II. And let me tell you something. World War II, any movie about World War II will give you an eye-opening look at the injustice of war, especially on civilians, which I think nowadays we have a hard time dealing with as a collective, as a people, as evidenced by, like what happened in Gaza, what's happening. And we just don't know how to really place that in our brains, which it is injustice, but I think we tend to think that there's good guys and bad guys when really when there's two countries warring, it's just kind of hell on earth, basically.
Unfortunately.
Most of the time. And World War II definitely was like that in a lot of ways for civilians everywhere. Because what I want to say is, yes, you may think there were bad guys in World War II, which it's probably the most definitive one where you can say yes.
We'll talk about some bad guys based off this movie.
But not everyone that died in Germany deserved to die. And that's kind of what I mean. So
Yes.
World War II movie is good for that. So Andy Aker, a listener, he said The Zookeeper's Wife by Diane Ackerman. Have you read that?
No.
He said, reading the book this past year reminded me how easy it is to feel like we have a grasp on a subject and yet still be blind to its reality. World War II is so enormous in history that it's easy to feel like we understand what happened, but this book helped me see how there are unique, terrible, heart-wrenching stories we don't know, and I appreciate how the book made my heart break for what people had to go through. And that's kind of what I was alluding to.
Nice. So I have two. I have a movie and a book. I'll go quick. American History X is my movie.
Yeah.
Just because it's easy when you're growing up, and especially in a small community where like everyone knows everyone and you're friends with everyone because there's only like so many kids in your grade. And also going through school and you're being presented, well, like the Civil War happened so long ago and civil rights movement happened in the 60s and in the 70s and everything's hunky-dory now.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
That's the way I know it.
And then you watch this movie and it's like, oh, nope, we're still just as broken. And you do get to, I love the redemption of Edward Norton's character of growing and seeing like, oh, you can't judge people based off their skin color, that they are bringing something that makes your humanity more complete. And so that one is definitely a good movie, not one for the little ones, and also if you're sensitive to racial violence, probably not one to watch. And then Night by Elie Wiesel. Had to read that in seminary, so
I've heard of that one.
that one is told from the perspective of someone who survived the Holocaust. So those two things definitely, or two book/movie, definitely had an impact on civil rights, civil injustice, and just being aware.
Yeah, I just thought of another movie too. 12 Years a Slave.
Yep.
Is very good, but you spend most of the movie going, this is so unfair. This is so unfair. It almost makes you sick because it's so unfair. Like it's just one guy's plight, but you understand that it probably happened to more than one person. That one's rough. That's a rough watch, but a good one. So yeah, if you don't follow our social media, you should, because we do these awesome things where we try to get you to engage with us, and you should engage with us. Talk to us, and we'll respond and maybe even read some of your answers on here. If you follow us right now, you might see one for our post called the Confession Booth, Cody, where we just try to prompt some like answer maybe you wouldn't normally want to answer, like a guilty pleasure type thing. This week's question: which beloved movie do you think people only pretend to like because they feel like they're supposed to, and why is it the Avatar series? No, I just added that last part.
That one I think is the easy, obvious one for this generation.
Yeah. Citizen Kane, I think, is the ultimate correct answer there.
How dare you?
Oh, okay. I listen, I'm not saying it's not something wonderful and a wonderful piece of cinema. I'm saying I think everyone says it's a wonderful piece of cinema, but nobody actually wants to watch it. That's what I'm kind of saying. But it makes you feel like you're in film school to say like, well, it's Citizen Kane is a wonderful piece of filmmaking, Cody.
Yes. Especially when you know more about Orson, like writing, directing, starring in this wonderful piece of cinema. But it definitely is a one-time watch until you forget.
I haven't forgotten yet.
Yeah. And I don't think that you can. But now you can rewatch it and be looking for, is it referring to this or is it referring to that? Because that also is a debate, what it actually, the deeper meaning is. But yeah, I'm not going to spoil it. If you haven't watched it yet, I won't spoil it.
We're true auteurs here. And that's why we're good friends with Marty.
Yes.
Our friend Marty Scorsese.
Because I will say Citizen Kane is cinema.
Some news here, Cody, that you sent me this week.
Yeah.
Kenan and Kel, they're back.
Thank goodness.
Listen, are Kenan and Kel like the last true throwback comedy duo? Are they like the last Abbott and Costello, even Chris Farley, David Spade, like these duos that used to be the thing and now really aren't anymore?
Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
Is that really a comedy duo though? That's more buddy cop. Buddy cop's different. Like listen, Kenan and Kel are not Mel Gibson and Danny Glover.
They could be.
Let's reboot the Lethal Weapon series starring Kenan and Kel.
Yes.
I think that would be great.
This is the best idea we've had on this show.
I need Kenan saying, I'm too old for this. Kenan gets to play the straight man. Kel gets to play Mel Gibson.
Completely unhinged.
So yeah, they're according to Variety, they're officially reuniting for a new horror comedy film titled Kenan and Kel Meet Frankenstein. That's so Abbott and Costello, man.
And what's the deal with all these Frankenstein?
Is Frankenstein just the classic movie monster of the moment? We went through the Mummy thing a few years back. Tom Cruise got on board, and it was apparently terrible.
I still haven't watched that one.
Nope, me either. Like when it gets that bad of a buzz, why do you even bother watching it? I don't know.
Guillermo del Toro made one for Netflix. Mm-hmm. Christian Bale's in one.
I did hear the Guillermo one was pretty good.
And now Kenan and Kel. And also, if you watched the first DC project,
the Creature Commandos.
Thank you.
Is there a mummy in that?
No, there's a Frankenstein in it.
Oh, Frankenstein, right? Yeah, not the mummy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I got confused.
So, I like to think that James Gunn started this all.
Probably, because in Cody's mind, James Gunn is the originator of everything.
Well, he did make the Infinity Saga.
Stop it! Just stop it. The film is going to begin production this summer. Kenan and Kel will star and produce.
I wonder if we could get Kel on the podcast.
Maybe.
He's a youth pastor.
We'll have to reach out to him. Here's the plot. I don't want to spoil anything, but as you might have guessed, this plot is probably paper thin.
What?
You ready for this? Two delivery drivers make a routine drop-off, arrive at a creepy out-of-place castle, accidentally awaken Frankenstein's monster. Chaos, comedy, and survival ensue.
That's my favorite combo.
Think working class guys plus classic monster plus escalating absurdity.
And they said comedy was dead.
I know, man. It's like, you know what? We need more of this. Why aren't we making more of these? Bring back the comedy duos. And you know what I like Kenan and Kel too is they don't have to like curse every other word.
No.
To be funny. Like bring this back. Kenan and Kel previously starred in a horror comedy Nickelodeon TV movie, Two Heads Are Better Than One. Are you familiar with that?
I probably watched it, but it's been a few moons.
It was kind of aired as a finale event for Kenan and Kel. It was kind of the last thing they did for Nickelodeon. So
I definitely watched it.
Yeah, they've done the spooky comedy thing before. So this is not so much of a new thing, but more of a deep cut throwback. For those of you not initiated in Kenan and Kel, which I am one of, because that doesn't really hit me in the right age, but I did watch Good Burger.
I wonder if they're going to feature a Coolio song, because he did the original Kenan and Kel theme song.
Did he really?
Yes.
That's so cool.
I miss 90s Nickelodeon because they just had the randomest artists that were singing the theme songs.
We need to bring Coolio back too, because recently, like, Gangsta's Paradise has been enjoying some like retro vibes again, coolness. Like, I've seen it in a couple different pop culture arenas. They need to bring back Fantastic Voyage, which was Coolio's other big song.
And the more fun of the two?
Absolutely. Definitely fun. Yeah, Gangsta's Paradise was actually maybe not Coolio's what you would think of as his wheelhouse.
Yes.
It was like the gangster rap thing was starting up, and Coolio's like, well, I'm getting on board this. Come here, singer guy. Been spending most their lives living. And you know that guy? I don't even remember his name.
He had a name.
All right. So you're excited for the Kenan and Kel.
Yes. I think every millennial should be.
I think Kenan has just quietly been one of the best Saturday Night Live cast members for, the last 15 years, seems like.
Last 40.
He's underappreciated in my head.
I mean, he hasn't been there 40 years, but I like to think he's been close.
He makes we get great gifts out of him.
Yes.
Like, one of my favorite gifts is a Kenan gif, the You Sure gif. You sure? That's my favorite. All right. It's time for us to go talk about our main subject. We're going to be right back, and we're going to Be Kind Rewind Raiders of the Lost Ark. If you guys could just get the outtakes. Someday we're going to start recording the in between the recording.
Just know that's where all the good stuff is.
Yeah. We had a conversation here between the recording, and it ended with a Jerry Maguire reference and not Show Me the Money.
Shocking.
Yeah. One day we're going to figure out how to do streaming, and you'll get to see all this wonderful goodness where we're just kind of rambling.
Yes.
But today is not that day, said King Aragorn. Today is not that day. Yeah. So it's time for our Be Kind Rewind. We watched Raiders of the Lost Ark. Cody, like, when you think of Raiders of the Lost Ark, what's the first thing you remember from that movie? Like, what if you could pick something from the movie that's the first thing you internalize and remember as a kid? What was it?
The thing that I first remember is the amulet of the Staff of Ra imprinted on the dude's hand.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's first, closely followed by the melting of the faces.
Yes. Okay. This is the mark of a true 80s kid. Because, like, look, this movie's full of iconic things. The boulder rolling scene, the where he's trying to get the icon and trying to put the bag of dirt on it, like that whole thing. That's become like a GIF now.
Yes.
And a meme. There's all these iconic scenes. But if you're an 80s kid, what you remember the most, the first thing you remember is the face melting. It just is what it is, man. Like, oh man, the Ark was melting faces.
It really was.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Let me just fill you in. If you've been living under a rock or a cabin out in the woods, this is the blurb. An epic tale in which an intrepid archaeologist tries to beat a band of Nazis to a unique religious relic which is central to their plans for world domination. Battling against the snake phobia and a vengeful ex-girlfriend, Indiana Jones is in constant peril, making hair's breadth escapes at every turn in this celebration of the innocent adventure movies of an earlier era. Who wrote this blurb?
That's awesome.
This is a terrible blurb.
I love it.
That is the official blurb. That is the official blurb for this movie.
Oh,
Clearly, Lucas didn't write that. Well, maybe he did. Do you know this only has an 8.4 on IMDb?
what?
8.4 out of 10. 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, which makes me want to be like, all right, 6% of critics. Let's see who these critics were. And what in the world is happening here? Just terrible. Yeah, so this movie starring obviously Harrison Ford.
That's not Tom Selleck.
No, it is not. You've got Karen Allen, Paul Freeman. He never gets mentioned enough as Belloc, but he's great. Alfred Molina has a very small part in it, but is a big name. John Rhys Davies as Sala is great. And of course, the great Denholm Elliott as Marcus Brody, who's one of my favorite characters, actually, in the Indiana Jones movies. He's so lovable, is Marcus. But yeah, this won Academy Award for Best Production Design. Big time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know how much it made.
All the money.
It doesn't say, but probably not as much as you would think, being a movie that came out in 1981.
You're probably correct.
So Indiana Jones, or no, not Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is the only one that doesn't have his name. This is a movie that didn't just revive. I said cereal, Serial, not
The
breakfast
type you
cereal.
eat.
But this movie didn't just revive the serial, the adventure serial. It sort of reprograms Hollywood. Raiders is this moment where Spielberg and George Lucas kind of take the dusty DNA of these old Saturday matinee cliffhangers that used to be on back in like the 60s and 70s. Pulp, as some people might have called them. Pulp heroes, exotic locales, booby traps.
Yes.
And they package it into something modern. And what's cool about what they do is it's terrifying, it's funny, it's romantic, it's all of these things into one, and it really sets the blueprint for Hollywood for a long time of how to do an adventure movie.
And I feel it establishes my friend Harrison Ford.
Oh, absolutely it does. Here's some cool things you may not know about this movie. Oh, I should say the general plot. The general plot is this is a movie about the search for the Lost Ark of the Covenant, the literal thing from the Bible.
Yes, Old Testament.
Yeah, and we start off with Indiana Jones looking for something else in South America, but that's just the opening sequence. It quickly moves to the government showing up and enlisting Indiana Jones as a obtainer of rare antiquities, as they call him.
That's a fancy term.
It is. And they use him to go find the Ark before the Nazis get it.
It wasn't until I was older that I learned, oh, the Nazis really did try to find all these random religious artifacts from various religions.
This is what's really cool about these movies is Spielberg and Lucas are borrowing from real history here. Not just that the Nazis were real and Adolf Hitler was real, but that Hitler had a fascination with these religious artifacts and the occult and just art in general. He just wants to collect all the art. He's the ultimate bad guy for someone like Indiana Jones. He wants all these artifacts and things like that.
Just think he'd be trying to catch all the Pokemon cards.
Yep, he would be. But here's some cool things you may not know. By the way, the whole rest of the movie is just
trying to get to the Ark.
It's a roller coaster ride. It's just an adventure. It never really stops or pauses. You just go.
Yep.
And it was wonderful. We loved movies like this back in the day. The sword and gun scene.
Love that one.
Where the guy comes up and he's like flinging his sword around all fancy style, and Harrison Ford just pulls his gun out and coolly shoots him. And it's played for laughs. It's hilarious. Improvised, not in the script. Legendary, iconic moment. Harrison Ford was suffering from food poisoning while filming in Tunisia. And there's supposed to be this long, elaborate whip and sword fight. But instead, he just goes to Spielberg, suffering from basically dysentery, and said, "Can I just shoot him?" And Spielberg was like, all right. And then they captured it on film, and they were like, ooh, that's really good. We like that. It's so weird that wasn't scripted, because that's like one of those moments without words that really captures Indiana Jones' personality.
Yep. Also, I've played Oregon Trail enough. Dysentery's not something you mess with.
No. Apparently that was something that a lot of the whole production struggled with there in Tunisia when they were filming. Steve Spielberg famously does not get sick because he's living off canned meat. Like, he brought all this canned meat with him, like Spam, I guess.
Ew.
And so he doesn't get sick, but everyone else does. The snake pit at the Well of Souls used real snakes.
In some versions of it, you can see the glass.
Yes. So I noticed that the Disney Plus version has fixed that.
I don't like it.
Because I looked for it. But it used to be in the original version, there was one where when the lightning flashes in the background, you could see a reflection. It's like when his face is down there close and he's reacting to the cobra.
Yeah.
But there were 7,000 real snakes used. Cobras, pythons, and other extremely dangerous nope ropes, as they're called. And a sheet of glass was what was protecting Harrison Ford. And those are real reactions. He's literally terrified.
You and me both, Harrison.
The fear was authentic, and it's a wonderful piece of filmmaking. Something else you may not have known, Indiana Jones was, as we've already alluded to, nearly played by someone else or several someone else's. The first choice was Tom Selleck, who they wanted to give the role to. So Tom Selleck was their first choice, and he was actually offered the role, but could not get out of his duties for Magnum PI.
I will say, if you watch Chippendale Rescue Rangers, they're dressed up as Indiana Jones and Magnum PI.
Yeah.
Or Thomas Magnum, if you will.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say something that might be mildly controversial. Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones, but if there was anyone else that could have brought any sort of unique personality to it at the time, it might have been Tom Selleck. It would have been completely different.
He would have had a stash.
But I still think it would have been good. Tom Selleck's wildly underrated.
I would have been scared if he didn't have the stash.
Nick Nolte was also considered. Why are you laughing? Would Nick Nolte not have been a good choice?
Not my top choice.
No, I don't think so.
Sorry, Nick.
He was considered, but never locked in or offered. Jeff Bridges was briefly discussed as well.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah, it would have been. That would. It feels like that would have been more cerebral.
Also, I don't know if we get the Big Lebowski if that happens.
Yes, true.
And I would rather keep the Big Lebowski.
Yes, that was the role he was born to play. Several roles in that movie, by the way, because I think that was also the Walter Sobchak is the role John Goodman was born to play.
In the original script that they sent to Sam Elliott, they had penciled in the narrator having a voice like Sam Elliott. When you see the narrator looking a lot like Sam Elliott.
Yep. Yeah, that's great when they write roles for specific people and they get to play them. That's awesome. Spielberg originally didn't want Harrison Ford because he didn't want another, quote, Lucas guy, because he'd already been in Star Wars. But Lucas pushed back hard, and thank God he did. Because can you imagine a world where we didn't have Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones? He would have just been another Buckaroo Banzai. Just something forgettable. No offense to whoever played Buckaroo Banzai. Indy, this is a big one. Cool things you may not have known. If you didn't know, I don't know how, because this is all over the internet. But Indy doesn't actually affect the outcome of the movie.
That's a spoiler.
This is one of the most famous kind of film things talked about with this movie. If Indy never goes on this adventure, if he never finds the Ark, if he never fights the Nazis still would have opened the Ark and melted themselves.
Yes.
So his role doesn't change the outcome. But I would say that that's kind of on brand with the story they're telling. The story's not about Indy. He's just along for the ride. And he's there to witness and survive the consequences of human arrogance, which, as we're going to talk about later, I think fits the themes of the movie perfectly. All right. Let's Muppetize the movie. Cody?
Okay. So I'm keeping Sala.
Dang it. How come we keep picking the same things? I keep thinking I'm doing something unique. All right, go ahead. Tell me.
Kermit as Indy.
Uh-huh.
Of course, Miss Piggy will be Marion, which will be funny when she is drinking apple juice against Fozzie, who will play the giant drunk guy that passes out.
Poor Fozzie. Never gets the plum rolls.
Major Arnold Tot as Beaker.
Okay.
He's the guy that has the hand thing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Creepy guy.
The creepy German guy.
Yes.
All right.
And then Rolf as Belloc.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I'm very much the same as you. I got Kermit as Indiana Jones. Standard casting, really. Kermit and Miss Piggy. Because Kermit has all that reluctant hero energy. He's a guy, you can imagine he keeps saying, I have a bad feeling about this. He could have played Han Solo, too, as well. But Kermit's whole thing is he's competent, but he has a lot of anxiety, which is like, seriously, that is Indiana Jones. Mm-hmm. And so Kermit's perfect. Miss Piggy, as you already said, brings you some of that fire, that fiery Marion Ravenwood energy.
Especially when she's slapping.
She also, gets to punch or slap someone a couple times in the movies, which would now be karate chops. Because that's what I mean, that's the Miss Piggy thing I love. So I also had Sala staying human, which I thought was going to be real unique. John Rhys Davies with a bunch of Muppets. Because I'm just a huge John Rhys Davies fan.
Yes.
If I'm being honest. But Sala is already operating like kind of on a different tone than all the other characters in the movie. He's warm. He's grounded. He's kind of aware of the depth of the mythology of the situation, right? He gives this really cool speech to Indy about the Ark, about how like, hey, this is maybe something that shouldn't be found.
So for me, the reason I chose him is just because like, I don't think you can keep any other random side characters. They either don't appear enough or you're going someone evil.
I've got a good one here, though. This one is unique. Gonzo as the terrifying face-melting agents of divine judgment at the end. The angels that come out of the Ark. They're all Gonzo.
Death.
They're all Gonzo doing something horrifying while looking like he's happy about it, which is so on brand for Gonzo. I'm here for it. Melting Nazis accidentally while apologizing. Sorry. I feel like that would just be great. And frankly, divine judgment that is slightly unhinged feels both Muppets and biblical.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's good. All right, Cody, what holds up about Raiders of the Lost Ark?
So I will start off with the cast.
It's a tale as old as time.
It is. I'm not going to go super deep in the cast, but when you have Doc Ock at the very beginning,
Alfred Molina, who could he possibly get like one of the Lifetime Achievement Awards someday? Like he's a big deal.
Like he's just as everywhere and you don't know it until you're like, oh yeah, he was in this.
Yeah. He's great.
And, you read off the cast earlier. Like literally a lot of the people that are main fixtures in the cast that actually have talking scenes multiple times, they're big deals.
You think about a guy like John Rhys Davies, who's been in like two of the biggest geek trilogies.
Yes.
In Indiana Jones, the original Indiana Jones trilogy, and then the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
He also deserves a Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm giving the whole cast a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Do it. We can do whatever we want. It's our show.
The PCP Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Raiders of the Lost Ark cast.
Yeah, it's just it's impromptu PCP PCAs.
Yes.
As they're known. Which I don't even know. In show notes, I don't even know if we're doing that this year.
We're doing it.
We're doing it? Okay, we're doing it.
I have so many worthy nominees.
Okay. Is that it? Is that all you got?
Oh, well, no, there's more that holds up. I was just saying the cast. I wasn't going to dive too deep into the cast.
You want to alternate?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking was happening.
Sure, yeah. This is peak Spielberg. This is absolutely,
Stevie?
this is absolutely peak Spielberg. Spielberg, of course, was already Spielberg. He was going to be Spielberg after this, but Raiders, I think, is him firing on all entertainment cylinders, right? You got George Lucas, who brings like the myth structure, the foundation, the story foundation, which he's so good at, obviously, with Star Wars, and then kind of that serial pulp nostalgia. And together they created something that studios still chase. They're still chasing this like kind of adventure format that has romance and comedy in it and all this other things. I mean, like, what was the movie we reviewed last year with
Jim Halpert.
Jim from The Office, which is, I mean, it was basically an Indiana Jones movie.
John Krasinski is his real name.
That's true. By 1981, Spielberg already knew how to move the camera, but Raiders is when he shows that he knows when not to. So he trusts silence in this movie. The reaction of the actor, letting them tell the story instead of exposition. And then the geography, he gets a lot of cinematography in here as well. And Spielberg's just, this is his crowning achievement. It's weird to say that about a guy who's so accomplished, wins Academy Awards after this.
And is in the Animaniacs.
But I think this is like, honestly, I think this is his maybe the most joyful thing he says through his art is these movies. And you can tell it because it was these pulp Saturday matinee movie shows they were building on were special to him and Lucas.
I do enjoy this movie a lot. I also will say the choice of artifact, it holds up.
Oh, does it ever?
I love within like biblical studies reading about the Ark of the Covenant and like the mythology behind like, oh, just not anyone and their mom can touch this thing. Like, you're not Levite, you're Gonzo.
Yeah.
And so like, the character of Indiana Jones being aware of like, oh, the ramifications if this is what it's claimed to be, like, oh, keep your eyes shut, Marion.
Yeah. I would back that up by saying that I think this is what the two new movies get wrong. By the way, I think Temple of Doom is a good standalone in the trilogy. It's like the first movie that's more about Indiana Jones on an adventure instead of an adventure happening with Indiana Jones as someone with a role in it. So it works on that level of just being something, but it's something ancient and of earth. The Shankara stones, it's legend, right?
Yeah.
It's something that could just be rocks, but the people in that area think it's got some mystical qualities. And this is the same way. The Ark and then the Holy Grail in the Last Crusade. I think what they get wrong in those two new movies is you got aliens, and then you got this weird time travel, I mean, just ridiculous bonkers concept, which the cool thing about this movie and the MacGuffin, which is the Ark of the Covenant, is this isn't a pastoral thing. I know we're pastors, and so we believe this, but even if you don't believe it had any mystical qualities, most historians will tell you, no, this was probably a real thing that the ancient Jews were carrying around, saying that the presence of God was inside.
Yeah.
So it's a real artifact from history, and I think that just grounds everything and makes it more real to us, even though we're watching a pulpy Saturday afternoon serial. This is also, what holds up, this is also P. Harrison Ford. I'm about to say something again that I think might be somewhat controversial.
Hot take.
This is his most iconic role. I'm sorry, it's not Han Solo. It's Indiana Jones.
It's not his character from Shrinking?
It's that one's in the top 5, maybe. It's approaching the top 5.
It's not him as the president?
No, that's just Harrison Ford at the height of his powers, just being very Harrison Fordy and pretending he's the president. I would not even put that like Jack Ryan. Yes, but not the Air Force One guy. Or I guess he's also the president. And we never really talked about how the Air Force One president could have been the same guy that turns into the Red Hulk.
That was a missed opportunity by us.
Could have been a continuation. Same universe. No, this is the sweet spot of Harrison Ford's acting persona. Indiana Jones is confident, but he's not cocky. He's capable, but he's not invincible. Man, he gets hurt. He loses from time to time.
He didn't stand a chance against that bare knuckle boxer guy.
No, he gets beat up. It's bare knuckle bald guy 1, Indy 0, but then it's also airplane propeller 1, bare knuckle bald head guy 0. You can't beat that airplane propeller.
You can't.
But Indy is a hero, but he also is tired. He's annoyed. He gets scared. He gets hurt. He's constantly having to improvise, and it makes him feel all the more human. And there's something about Harrison Ford where he just, man, the authenticity that pours out of him in a role is just sort of when he's really, really trying. Because I think there's some years as Harrison Ford gets older where it's not really there. Now, I think it's there in Shrinking, which I think we're doing watch-alongs to here soon.
January 28th, first episode comes out.
So we'll talk a lot about Harrison Ford then. But this is his iconic role, in my opinion.
I agree.
What else holds up?
When you were reading the blurb about this, and like he was having to combat his ex, her reaction to him walking into the bar first time, I'm like, I've seen this in person before with individuals. That's not over dramatized. So yes, I was here for that. Like Karen Allen, who plays Marion, did a phenomenal job. Also, I felt bad for her character that like her dad's like, I'm going to drag you all over the world, and then I'm dying in Nepal.
Yeah, we could have really got some extended content, I feel like, in that universe where we just learn all about the Ravenwoods because they seem interesting.
Yes, because you know who's not the expert on the staff of Ra? Indy.
Yeah.
He's not.
Well, Indy, so Ravenwood, Abner Ravenwood is Indiana's
mentor / friend.
Yeah, he's his Miyagi.
Yes. Although he did not realize he died.
Yeah. Well, because they had a falling out over Marion.
Thanks a lot, Marion.
Which had some questionable stuff going on there.
Yeah.
I spent a good few minutes trying to figure out now, is this just phrasing? Is just like, she's not saying that she was young. She was just saying she was young in a romantic sense.
That's what I was hoping.
Let's not go there. What holds up in this movie? The iconic stuff. This movie has just iconic moments that are like minted into Hollywood history. The boulder.
I was going to say the boulder gets like referenced all the time.
Yeah. It got spoofed a ton.
Like Full House had the boulder in it. Community during the timeline episode. When Troy and Abed, they have a makeshift like model of the boulder, and the boulder causes chaos in one of the timelines.
Yeah. The golden idol switch, which we talked about earlier. The whip, the hat grab. Like it happens in multiple movies, and it's a trope that gets played in other movies where the character, like a door is closing and the character reaches back to grab something important usually, but for Indy it's his hat.
Yes.
Which is just amazing. The Staff of Ra map room moment is just amazing. It's amazing cinema. The Well of Souls, it's all amazing.
The hand getting burnt,
and then him Hail Hitlering later, and you see the burnt image on his hand. The final scene with the face melting.
The monkey.
It's all iconic, man. Bad dates.
Yes.
This movie is just full of iconic stuff. What else holds up?
That's all I have.
Okay. I'll run through the rest of my stuff quickly. The music. John Williams, who is, the best to ever do it, right? There's no one even close.
Zimmer might be close.
He might get there. Yeah, but John Williams is amazing. He watched a rough cut of the movie, immediately started sketching themes, And Spielberg famously loved the music so much, he said, "This is the movie," when he heard it. And I'll do him one better. This music that John Williams composed is the character of Indiana Jones. Every bit as much as Harrison Ford, this music becomes that character. You hear that music and you just think Indiana Jones.
So, if I'm not mistaken, John Williams also does Star Wars.
Star Wars, Superman.
But my gripe is, if we were upset about old Harry being a Lucas guy, why are we using John? Come on, Stevie. Consistency.
Because, sometimes you just go with what works. And John Williams works. The cinematography in this movie is beautiful. This is just a popcorn flick in the 80s. And yet there's something about this movie when I watched it today, it just looks different from movies made now. And my daughter noticed it. So Ayla, who we had on the show a couple episodes ago, at one point she turns to me and she says, "Why don't they make movies like this anymore?" And she was reacting to the look of the movie, but also the way that he was telling the story. So she was reacting. She said this right after the scene where Karen Allen Marion's contemplating the return of Indiana Jones. She says, "See you tomorrow, Indiana Jones." And he leaves. And then there's just this quiet moment she has with the amulet where nothing is being said. There's no swelling music. There's nothing. And what my daughter was noticing is that today's movies have to tell us everything because they know we're watching two screens. They have to exposit everything. And this movie, like many in the past, rewards our attention instead of competing for it. And she noticed that and it was amazing. But the cinematography too, the look of the movie, it's gorgeous, but because it's got practical effects. Everything's on location. There's no sets here. It's just great stuff. And finally, the end warehouse scene I have here in my notes, the Ark being boxed up and wheeled out into an endless government warehouse. If you know the backstory of this was George Lucas being a little cheeky. He's poking fun at government bureaucracy. He's poking fun at humanity's tendency to misplace sacred things. And the idea that divine power gets lost in filing systems.
Probably not wrong.
Yeah. So this is good stuff. What doesn't hold up, Cody? Do you have anything that doesn't hold up?
So the one thing that I had is the initial dialogue between Marion and Indy.
Yeah.
But other than that, there really isn't a whole lot, especially since the Disney Plus version doesn't have the glass. You can't see the glass case.
The reflection of the glass in the snake pit.
Yeah. Although that had become iconic in itself. Because, once you saw it, you, knew it was there. And, every time after that, you saw it and you're like, they didn't want Harrison Ford dying by snakes.
Although I think he was legitimately afraid he might die.
I was afraid for him, too.
I can't think of one thing that really doesn't hold up in this movie after watching it again today. This is a masterpiece of cinema. So when you're looking at it as just a movie, I had a hard time thinking of anything. That one conversation, which I'm just choosing to believe she's saying, you're my first love.
Yes.
But that she was of age. I think the way she said it was just, ooh, I'm about to rephrase that in today's day and age.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am well aware that some people use the thing we already brought up where Indy is not actually affecting the outcome as a critique. I would like to rebut that just in this section. That has aged into a talking point, but I actually think that if you're using that as a critique, you're not fully understanding the story. What has aged badly is that today's audiences expect the protagonist to control the outcome, to be the hero who solves everything, to win on their competence alone. Mm-hmm. Where Raiders and stories from back then were kind of saying, in this particular story, it's that the whole point is humans aren't meant to wield this kind of power.
Yes.
And that's not outdated, actually. it feels unusual to modern blockbuster logic, but the idea of that's not really outdated, and that's the point of the movie.
I blame Tom Cruise for for why we
It's the
feel
darn Scientology, darn you, L. Ron Hubbard.
for why we feel the way we feel with action heroes having to have a direct impact. Because Mission Impossible, if he doesn't do this, we're all doomed.
Well, and I think, if we're being honest, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, they contribute to this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so I do feel that having something be more powerful than the hero's will, because like throughout he's like, this is just a bunch of phony baloney.
Yeah.
Like, I want to find this. We'll get it to the museum. We'll make a lot of money.
Yeah,
we'll become famous.
He calls Marcus superstitious. You're getting superstitious on me, Marcus. He's clearly not a believer,
Yes.
which makes the end of this movie so fascinating.
Where if I was Harrison Ford's character in this flick, I would have said, I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious.
It would have been correct. That would have been the correct way to use it. Cody, which character would you be if you were a character in this movie? Oh, Lord.
This is tough.
I can't wait for you to say Indiana Jones. I'm clearly Indiana Jones.
I'm probably
Creepy German guy.
Dr. Marcus.
You're Dr. Brody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Marcus Brody.
You're the Brody to my Indy.
10 years ago, I would have gone on this venture by myself.
Yeah. That's perfect. Yeah. Honestly, for most of my childhood, Cody, I wanted to be Indiana Jones. That's not a lie. Like, these were my favorite movies by far. I wanted to be Indiana Jones. I wanted the hat. I wanted the whip. I wanted to go find lost things. I wanted to go on adventures, artifacts, truth, meaning, all that stuff that's hidden out in the world. And then I can pinpoint the exact moment where I knew, that's not in the cards. So I'm sitting in Archaeology 101 at the University of Kansas. And you're sitting there and you realize that archaeology is a lot less running from boulders and a lot more paperwork, less ancient temples that are lost and more meticulous cataloging.
That's lame.
Like there's more memorization going on in archaeology, like in the early classes of like years, epics, eras, all that stuff. So many numbers to memorize. Fewer whips, more grant proposals. Like, because that's the other thing is archaeology's actually kind of boring.
And not well funded.
And not well funded. You got to get some grants or you got to be rich. And that was sort of when I had that heartbreaking realization of like, oh yeah, I took this class because I wanted to see if it was something I could actually do. And it turns out this isn't something really a lot of people can do.
Josh Gates,
although does he really do it anymore? Or is he just a TV personality guy?
He gets to hang out with archaeologists.
That is true.
Find the cool stuff while he's there.
He's always the coolest guy in the room too, which kind of proves my point. I was way too cool to be an archaeologist, obviously. If I'm being honest, I'm probably Sala.
That's who I had for you.
Yeah. The older I get, that's my honest answer. Sala doesn't need the spotlight. He doesn't need to find the artifact. He doesn't need to get the glory. What he does need is people. So that moment when they're getting on the ship and he tells this almost makes me cry. It's just one line, but he looks at the captain and he goes, "This is my family." Talking about Indiana Jones and Marion. That's his whole character right there. Like in that one line, he chosen family, man. He just loves everybody. He loves people. He makes sacrifices. He shows up. He understands the stakes and he understands people. And honestly, that's the role I would want now. Even though in my heart, I would want to go on adventures with Indiana Jones. But that's it. I would want to go on adventures with Indiana Jones because I love him.
If we were doing The Last Crusade, I might have been the other Dr. Jones.
Henry Jones Sr. Pastor's Corner, deeper themes. For all of the whip cracking, the explosions, Raiders of the Lost Ark is quietly telling something that's kind of dangerous, kind of a dangerous story. It's telling a story about faith versus control and how when we control things, we want to weaponize God. So the villains are the Nazis, of course, and the Nazis have a theology problem. They're not denying the power of God. They want to use it. The Ark isn't sacred to them. It's a bomb.
It's a tool.
It's a tool, and that's a terrifying idea. The sacred treated like technology. Belloc literally refers to the Ark as a transmitter, and I yelled at my screen. I was like, no!
Ancient aliens.
That's not just a throwaway line, though. It gives away their whole problem and the whole crux of the movie. When humans lose reverence, the holy becomes a tool, like Cody said. It's just a mechanism. It's just a weapon. It's a thing to be optimized and controlled. And we do this in church all the time.
The holy becomes the profane.
We turn the mystery into a method. Well, if this sermon has 3 points, just like my last sermon. Do these 3 points and pray more, and you'll be able to do this. And we turn worship into a show. We turn faith into this formula, and we judge those not sticking to that formula.
Jabronis.
This movie is a warning. The sacred does not submit to systems. So that's the first deep theme in here. The second one is I love the balance that Indiana Jones has between skeptic and yet believing. He never really says it, but it's his actions. So Indiana Jones is kind of living in the middle. He's clearly not a believer in any church sense. We referenced his conversation with Brody. But when that moment comes at the end, that moment Cody's referenced multiple times already, he shows humility, he shows reverence, and he shows awe. All things the Bible says to have for God. And he says, Marion, whatever you do, don't look at it. Don't open your eyes. And so we see the Indy, unlike, so the Nazis are punished for their bad thinking, their bad theology. But Indy is not punished for his doubt. He's rewarded for his humility. And I think that's a wonderful message. That's amazing.
Also, you're not supposed to look at it.
And the final theme is you can't control the holy. The ending is brutal. The face melting, but it's very biblical in a lot of ways. We tend to think that holy sounds nice. It sounds gentle and safe, maybe even comforting. But holiness, when confronted by godliness, is not any of those things. It will consume it. And the Ark does not discriminate at the end of this movie. It simply reveals a reality that happens when you put those two things together. When arrogance meets holiness, the result isn't an enlightenment for the arrogant. No, it's their undoing. From the dust you came, to the dust you will return. It's not cruelty. It just is. And that's like the best description of God I could give you beyond that God is love, is that he just is. And what happens around him. Anyways, I like to think deeply about movies. I thought about all that after watching it today and watching the end and thinking, man, the end of this movie is really special.
My wife was like, whoa, what's happening to their faces?
Face melting.
Rock your face off.
Who's the winner of this movie, Cody?
The winner of this movie.
There's so many choices that aren't wrong here.
Yeah, I think I will go with Lucasfilms.
Ooh, yeah, I didn't even think about on that level, but really, yeah.
Because throughout my childhood, they had two of the most iconic and beloved trilogies of all time. In Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Both trilogies had wrapped up by the time I'm born. Like, The Last Crusade comes out in 89. And that's when I'm born. So yeah, like those are beloved, and without those, Disney doesn't quite have the stronghold that they have now. Like,
Yeah.
Disney, when they bought Lucasfilms, they bought Indiana Jones and Star Wars. I don't know what else George Lucas has done, but it was those two things that they were cashing in on.
But it's not just the movies either. So with Star Wars, you got the toys.
Yes.
Which, they partner with Hasbro or whoever with. But then also with Indiana Jones specifically, there were a lot of video games, like computer games that came out with that. And so Lucasfilm, when I think of Lucasfilm as a company, I think of a lot of video games too. And so there's a lot of material. Like, this allows Lucasfilm to become huge. It's like the capper to add to Star Wars. And at some point, George Lucas rides off into the sunset as a billionaire, right? I mean, I don't know how much he's worth, but it seems like he's worth a lot. My winner of the movie is Harrison Ford. I went easy because, as I said, I think this isn't just an iconic Harrison Ford role. I think it is the one role that locks in his legacy. By 1981, Ford had already been Han Solo, but Raiders proves that that wasn't a fluke. He goes from more of an ensemble cast of Star Wars to this, where he's the guy. And Indiana Jones is a completely different kind of hero that's going to more sum up Harrison Ford for a lot of people. He's more vulnerable. He's more physical than Han Solo. And he's more human, really. Like, the thing about Han Solo is we get mad that he's not larger than life. What do you mean Greedo shot first? No, my Han Solo he was the man. He shot him first because he's Han Solo, darn it. But Indiana Jones, he's the guy who's a little bit more human. He's a little bit more vulnerable.
He wears glasses sometimes.
He does. You can make a case for Spielberg, John Williams, for this movie, the movie itself, the franchise. But the face you picture when you hear the theme, it's the guy with the hat and the whip. That's Harrison Ford. Who's your loser of the movie?
Like in World War II, it's the Nazis.
Get out of here, Nazis.
Yeah, you jabronis.
Indiana Jones makes it cool to punch Nazis again.
He does. There's so many iconic scenes between Indy and the Nazis throughout this one and The Last Crusade that you're like, yeah, you guys deserve to lose.
Yeah. That's the only problem with Temple of Doom. No Nazis. The Thuggy cult. Who are these guys? They don't stand a chance. Indy beats Nazis.
Although they rip hearts out.
Soon Kalima. Anyways, my loser of the Raiders of the Lost Ark is Karen Allen. Not because she's bad. It's because she's probably too good for what she's given. Marion is an iconic role in and of herself. She's an iconic character. She's tough, funny, defiant, instantly memorable. And Karen Allen brings real life to the role, and she's believable. And here's the real tragedy of her, though. The movie, if there's one criticism of this movie, critique of this movie, and I think it's more of a critique of the era than the movie, is that her character is positioned as an emotional stake. As a real person. Mm-hmm. She's the person who has to be rescued. She's the reminder of Indy's past. And while she absolutely, I think her performance rises above those limitations, the script doesn't allow her to explore her world the way it does Indy's. And then there's the bigger Hollywood question. Like, one of the things I remember, because this is one of my favorite movies, is why didn't we see her in more things? Why didn't we see her in more things? I feel like she should have been a megastar.
She was, Dave.
No,
she was in Scrooged. She was in The Sandlot.
Okay.
The Sandlot 2.
You understand there's quite a period of time between Raiders of the Lost Ark and Scrooged, which is the next big thing I remember her in.
And The Sandlot.
And The Sandlot's even more time. I'm just saying, she had charisma, she had presence, she had range. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's every bit as gorgeous as Harrison Ford, her opposite. Like she's just she shines on screen. They're both beautiful people. Don't get me wrong, beautiful people. But instead, she kind of becomes this what if. Like
She becomes or goes in the dial of destiny. I don't know what more you want, Dave.
I just think she's an actress who clearly had it, but she doesn't get the consistent opportunities that a lot of women actresses might get in the mid 80s, other actresses, or she doesn't get the vehicles to match her ability. So I'm not saying she got forgotten. I'm not even saying she's unsuccessful. I'm just saying she's underused by the industry. And I wonder why, because I think Karen Allen's amazing. And I just always have when I saw this movie. How many fedoras out of 10 are you giving this movie, Cody?
A 9.25.
That's exact.
Yes.
That's very exact. I'm giving it a 10. I don't think I've given many things a 10, if anything. Have I given something a 10? I feel like I might have given one thing a 10.
All the things.
This is brilliance. This is the movie that made Indiana Jones a hero of mine. But this movie isn't even about Indiana Jones. And I think it's fitting that this is the one movie that doesn't carry his name, because this is like, as I said earlier, this is kind of the movie where he's just a player in it. The story is the star. And then later on, the movies become more about Indiana Jones, especially Last Crusade, which is probably my heart favorite.
So that's why I can't give it a 10. Is
Because you're giving that one a 10?
I have a different Indiana Jones movie that I love way more.
Yeah.
But
I can say
strictly might be because of Sean Connery.
Yeah, I can say that I love that movie more. That's my most often rewatch of all the movies.
Junior.
But I think this one is just an amazing movie, and he's just a part of the story. There's a line where Belloc says to him when he's got the rocket launcher, he's got it aimed at the Ark, and like Belloc already knows, right? Indiana Jones already knows. He knows the soldiers are coming around him. He knows that there's no way he's getting out of this no matter what. So he's like, in that one moment, he's almost like, well, we're all going to die. How about that? I'm taking my ball and going home. But Belloc knows he can't do it. And he says this line: "We're just passing through history, Indiana. This," pointing at the Ark, "this is history." And that's just it. That's the story.
I will say Belloc had some good lines.
Oh, didn't he? He's great.
In 1,000 years, you might become historical.
Man. So yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. I love this movie. It's so good.
Have we done The Last Crusade?
We have not.
We need to.
Maybe we just need to go all through all three of them this year.
I don't disagree.
I think that'll be a thing. All right. What do you think of the Raiders of the Lost Ark? Is it your favorite indie movie? Not indie, I-N-D-I-E. I-N-D-Y.
The Squid and the Whale is my favorite indie movie.
I would have said Clerks. All right. Let us know what you think on the social media post for this episode. Make sure and join social media. Follow us on social media too, because you're missing out a lot if you don't. We'll see you next time.